can't even believe I'm saying pitcher's battle and using the words Patrick Corbin. But can I tell you, Scott, he's a different guy. He's a totally different guy with the Rangers than we've seen.
I say this all the time. Don't worry about the first 5 innings. Don't even watch the first 5 innings in Texas Ranger game. Because for whatever reason, there's a ton of runs scored in the first 5, and then it just stops. It just stops.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. Like, when they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I think Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, what better blueprint do we have than just staying the course and okay, safe, right?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
And welcome in. It is in-game live game day here on a terrific Thursday evening. Scott Wetzel, Dane Martinez in for Dave Sherapan tonight as we take you right up until 10 p.m. Eastern time, analyzing, watching, and, of course, betting on the world of sports. A lot to get to tonight. Got a little bit of everything. 5 on the line, our SGPs. We got our Black Clouds. We got Cooper Flag versus Bronny. If you're into the Summer League basketball, it'll cost you a couple of shekels if you actually want to go watch the game. Got a little WNBA bad beat yesterday. Oh, what a horrible WNBA bad beat yesterday. We'll get into. We got one more game tonight. A little Wimbledon preview with Drew Dinsick from NBC Sports Bet. He'll join us in a couple of minutes. We'll go over great men's semifinals and then a pretty good women's finals for this weekend. So a lot to get to. My partner in crime, again, Dane Martinez. What's going on, Dane? How are you tonight, bud?
Feeling good, Scott. Like you said, interesting time of year, I think, in the Major League Baseball calendar, right? With the All-Star break on the horizon. Got to see how these teams are preparing. We got a game in the WNBA, and I'm excited to talk to Drew because, like you said, we got 2 men's semifinals tomorrow that I really want to get into. And then, of course, Anisimova with the upset of Sabalenka today, getting into the finals against Iga Swiatek. And the thing is, I really want to talk to Drew because there are so many different ways to bet tennis, over under on aces, games played, exact sets, like get a guy to win 3-1, so I want to see if he thinks kind of the semifinals tomorrow, are we going to see just Sinner and Alcaraz roll, or are we going to see, kind of more competitive matches and different ways to fill out the card?
Yeah, I tell you, one of the bets I really liked, and I was going to bring it up yesterday with Cam or Dubsy when you get a chance to break it down that much, is they got the Sinner Joker match, Dane, total games at 39.5. And, that's basically asking one of these guys not to get blitzed, right? I mean, If it ends in straight sets, then, okay, it's not going to get to 40. It can't. But if it goes 4 sets, I mean, as long as these guys, keep their serve, which they do for the most part, worst case scenario is 6-4, 6-4, 6-4, 6-4, someone wins. That's 40. One of these guys is not going to get broken twice. That just doesn't happen at this level of tennis. So I really, I'm anxious to talk to Drew as well, because I think that over 39.5 is just, dare I say, the lock. I mean, how is that not going to, if not, like I said, go 5 sets,
Right.
But if it goes 4, you're going to get to 40 games. You just will. No one's winning a set 6-2. Not at this level. So,
Well, listen,
tennis, there's different ways to bet it.
for every lock there is a key, so watch that L word
Yes.
here when it comes to betting Wimbledon. And I will say this, and this is something that's interesting. You're right. One break of serve is usually 6-4, but it depends on who serves first in the set, because you can also technically have 6-3 if there is only one break of serve. So you got to check that out. But I agree with you. You know, in essence, in my mind, that is a bet that the match goes 4 sets or more. But, you know, because there are kind of weird ways there, I would almost check the juice, Scott, on that kind of total games. Versus, you could also bet just over 3.5 sets. And I would see if there's any difference kind of in the juice and the way you could do it. But you're right, because listen, you could, you know, the 39.5 is where they usually hang it, because also, dare I say it, imagine if it is straight sets, but it goes to the tiebreaker all 3 sets, and you wind up landing on 39.
That would stink. That would really, really, you know, then you talk about a bad beat, right? But in essence, you shouldn't win that because, you know, any straight set match, you shouldn't get your over total. You just shouldn't. But theoretically, you're right. That could also turn out to be a bad beat with 7-6 straight across the board. So, but yeah, that's interesting. Let me see if there's a match where they give you how many sets, 2 sets to 1.
They do. They usually do over-under on sets. So let's compare. Yeah. You're talking about Sinner Djokovic, right?
Yeah. I don't see it, though. There it is. Total sets, 3.5. You're right. Let me see what the odds are real quickly.
So match over games, 39.5. Over is -112. Sets, over 3.5 is -205. So doing it your way with the games is kind of the better way to do it. You just got to avoid the whammy, Scott. That's all.
Yeah. And that happened to me yesterday after he dropped the first set, the Joker, and they were giving me 5.5 on the dude he was playing. So I said, all right, I'm already up 1 set. As long as this guy doesn't get blitzed, you know, if I'm getting 5.5, even if he loses 6-4 across the board, I still win by 1/2. And of course, he lost the set 6-2. And he ended up losing by 7 sets or 7 games. So it didn't come through. But anyway, we'll talk a little tennis. Got a little NBA. I'm not into Summer League. I'm not, Dane. But we do have a Cooper Flag versus Bronny. I think Bronny's 15 minutes of fame are up, to tell you the truth. But they're saying tickets are going for hundreds, if not thousands, courtside for this Summer League game. You know, let me see it before I believe it. You could ask for that, but are they really selling those tickets for that? I have my doubts. I really do. But Cooper Flag and Bronny, something to look on. I don't know if you can even bet that stuff on FanDuel. I think they offer opening lines. I don't know if they do in-game line stuff on that. I'm trying to remember because I don't bet it. Well, let me just see. I don't see anything. I see Cooper Flag.
You can bet it live. Like I see right now the Magic and the Kings in Summer League, and you can bet it live. Right now the Kings are up 33-20 on the Magic, and they're hanging updated live lines and totals. But I'm with you. I am not betting any event, Scott, where I cannot know that kind of the coaching is trying to win as opposed to just trying to see guys or trying to work on stuff, you know, because you need that kind of fidelity to what you think teams are trying to do. And it's just an environment where you can't. We'll talk about my thoughts on Bronny a little bit later on, because I know we got your 5 on the line.
Yeah. By the way, in New York, I don't see the Summer League games at all.
Oh, really?
Even in live now, I get the one WNBA game. That's it, actually. So, all right, maybe we can find some lines on that stuff. You can handle that stuff. Yes, 5 on the line. Time for our 5 best trends for the games that, for the most part, have yet to begin. 5 on the line. All right, we're going to go dig deep here because there's really not that many games. So I'm going to throw a couple of props at you. I know they're going to be heavily juiced, but the trend says yes. So if you want to put them in parlay, knock yourself out. First off, we had 2 and 3 again yesterday. Again, that goofy Cleveland game against Houston just killed it. It's killing our 5 on the lines this week. Another double loser because the Guardians won and the game went over. So we went 2 and 3, winning with the over Atlanta A's game. A WNBA game we hit, and then we lost both Cleveland plays and then the under Texas Angels. So 2-3. So we're still 72 games over 500. So for tonight, we will use Texas tonight, that game against the Angels, but we're going to use props. We're going to start with Corey Seager. He's got a base hit in 13 of his last 14 games. It's taken a long time, but he's on fire. So Corey Seager to get one base hit is minus 390. Again, I don't expect you to play that straight, but if you want to put it in a parlay, we're going to use Josh Smith, teammate. He's got a base hit in 9 of his last 11 games. Josh Smith to get a base hit is minus 3-1. Maybe parlay that with Seager. We're going to use the Nationals and Cardinals. They just began over. Nats 9-2 over. Nats and Cardinals series 13-7 over. So over 9 that game. We're going to use A's 28-18-1 over. The hit last night. Hope this hits again. Over 10.5 Atlanta and the A's. And then our final one, Arizona 18-6 over last 24 games. So let's go over as our number one trend play. Over 8.5 Arizona versus San Diego. Our 5 on the line, 5 best friends. So
yeah, I like that.
Let's
going back to the scores on that one because Cease did not do our thing for the Padres last night.
Yeah, it did. All right, just underway. In-game live, game day continues.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back. It is In-Game Live Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dane Martinez, hour number one. Just to kind of recap, as we always do, our 5 on the line, our 5 best trends for games tonight. Threw a couple of wrinkles at you with some props since we only had a couple of games, but I wanted to get those out there because, listen, hopefully they're winners. As we always say here, I'd rather give you a line that wins that you don't use than give you a line that you do use that loses. So if you don't want to use the minus 390 or 3-1, put them in a parlay if you don't want to. I get it, but there they are. Seager, a base hit, minus 390, 13 of his last 14 games. Smith, the base hit, minus 3-1. Base hits in 9 of his last 11 games. Over in the Washington-St. Louis contest, which is just underway. We're going to use the over in the A's game, which hit again yesterday after it hit again on Tuesday, over 10.5, and then over 8.5 Arizona and San Diego, which hit yesterday. Thank you, Dylan Cease, who they just laid an egg again. They didn't get it done. I'm very disappointed. I thought for sure he was going to pitch well yesterday. I really was. But
I will say this, Scott, he did strike out 8. So I was on the strikeout prop, right? And while he laid an egg, and we were talking about his ERA differences on home and road, those splits, and he did not look good, to be sure. But he did strike out 8, Scott. So that strikeout prop at least got us home.
All right, at least you got the winner on that one. So let's. We were talking some tennis. With the baseball side here for a second. Let's continue our tennis talk because we got some great matches coming up this weekend for sure. Starting tomorrow morning. Drew Dinsick from NBC Sports Bet joins us now. Drew, Scott, and Dane, how are you tonight, bud?
Couldn't be better. We are in for a very, very, very exciting finale at Wimbledon. This is kind of the perfect way that this tournament could have unfolded, where in the early going you had chaos, you had upsets, and then things kind of settled down. And now we have had, a little bit of chalk prevailing through the first half of week 2, which has given us kind of these absolutely epic matchups, both on men's and women's side. So it's sort of the same vibes you get from like a really good March Madness cycle, where you want to see the chaos and in those first couple of days of the tournament, but you also want the blue bloods to be there, for the championship. And here you go. Like you wanted 2 legitimate men's semifinals. Like these were your best possible options. And I think everybody who really loves tennis, and who particularly men's tennis, and really got engaged in that Roland Garros final, like I think we're on track for a replay of that, and on a different surface with different conditions. And, we get to see these 2 epic, players potentially stack another head-to-head in their, budding young rivalries. So, this is, if I could have scripted it, this is pretty much exactly what I would have written to happen on both sides. So I'm delighted.
Hey, Drew, I know I really like that March Madness analogy, right? Where everyone cheers for Cinderella early on and the upsets and all that, but then the cream rises to the top, and you want to see those kind of matchups in the second week. So let me ask you first about Sinner and the Joker, right? And I want to ask you, how much of a concern is it for you that it looks like Sinner is a little bit banged up going into this one, right? With the last matchup where I think it was Dimitrov retired, it was Sinner who also took an injury timeout. Sinner who also feels a little bit banged up. Does that give Joker a little bit more of an opportunity in this one?
I actually feel like it's the other way around. It's giving us bettors an opportunity to get a cheap price on Sinner. He was having a little bit of like a things aren't going my way, I'm pouting moment, in my opinion. When I've watched enough Sinner, and again, like, don't take this the wrong way. Like, he is the best men's tennis player going right now. He is not better than Alcaraz on grass. He is not better than Alcaraz on clay. But he will be for sure the bet on at the U.S. Open. And I have an amazing amount of respect for his game. He is very, very, very obviously a tell when he is actually hurt. And it was a hard fall early that kind of looked like it might have, kind of made his elbow uncomfortable. But to me, those first 2 sets where Dimitrov was winning was a lot more about what Dimitrov was doing than Sinner. I mean, he wasn't having a good game, but I don't think he was expecting Dimitrov to come out and be, banging at 140 miles an hour at him. And that caught him by surprise. And I think he was on his back foot. He was looking for excuses. He's motioning, my elbow to the box. And the box is like, what do you want, an Advil? Like, come on, man, pull it together. And it's like, yeah, like, pull it together. What are you doing here? And like, he might have ultimately pulled it together and beaten Dimitrov. We'll never know because Dimitrov, tears his pec. And, wasn't an accident that he tore his pec. Like he upped his miles per hour on serve and forehand an enormous amount because that's what he thought he needed to do to get the better of him that day. And his body broke down because he's much older. And so it all kind of made sense watching it. And he has the precautionary MRI the next day on the elbow, and everything's fine. He does a practice hit around every all the whispers from people who saw the practice were like, yeah, he looks fine. So he was a pretty clear and easy and obvious bet on against Shelton, in my opinion. He got way bet against, which again, beautiful betting opportunity to get on Sinner at a price that I don't think we'll ever see again against the likes of a Shelton. And kind of watching pretty closely in that Djokovic match, right at the death. He took a bad split. Looked to me, at least, like he might have, done a little bit of aggravation to his groin. He has, if you've been following Djokovic closely in the last several, slams, he has had a tough time beating the likes of Sinner, beating the likes of Alcaraz, and he has consistently had these groin hernia, ab, type of injuries, which have limited his ability to move and his ability to perform. And I think ultimately, this is the perfect chance to get Sinner at price, and I think he ultimately wins by margin tomorrow.
All right. How does this not go 40 games? The over-under, Drew, is 39.5. You tell me someone's going to lose in straight sets or someone's going to lose and have their serve broken twice? I don't, right? 40, isn't that an automatic over?
You need Djokovic to take a set. And count me in the camp where I'm a little skeptical of that for real. Like I feel like there is certainly a little bit of you close the gap between Sinner and Djokovic on grass relative to clay, but we just saw this match on clay and it was a non-compete and Djokovic gets blasted off the court, so I think that's going to happen again.
All right, hold on if you can. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll get to the other match, and then we'll do the women's finals as well. And I want to also ask you about Dimitrov and something Dane and I were kind of half joking about, really. We're talking with Drew Dinsick, NBC Sports Bet. We're coming up here in a break.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Knecht's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Knecht, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Knecht 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, Houston beat the snot out of the Dodgers, 18-1. And this is what happens here. Oral Hershiser doing the game for the Dodgers brings up the cheating scandal, going, oh, they must know the science because they're hitting curveballs that they know it's coming. It's like, oh, boy, did you really want to go down that rabbit hole again here? I think this is one of those nights where they got destroyed. Yeah, hey, it happens in baseball here. But just found that an interesting comment by Oral Hershiser. Start bringing up the cheating scandal again.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
You have a head coach in Jim Harbaugh that's proven he will cheat to win. He will win at the biggest stage and doesn't give a damn who cares or finds out, and he'll just move on. That's what I love about a coach. That's the type of coach that I want. Win at all costs. Now, also, at all costs means, like, how are we building this team? Because I actually thought Harbaugh would come in and say, okay, let me just see what the players on the roster is. We'll weed them out after a year, but there's a lot of talent. He built that foundation last year and still made the playoffs.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Tony Gwynn had 107 career at-bats against Greg Maddux. Never struck out once.
Oh, that's nuts.
In 107 times. 107. Cam, if you took the modern player and said, are you going to face Maddux 107 times in a row? Like Vlad Guerrero Jr. and these guys, they'd strike out like 62 times type thing.
Exactly.
It'd be like 80 times. It'd be like whiffing.
Sports Rage tonight. Only on SportsGrid.
welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dane, hour number one, talking some tennis with Drew Dinsick from NBC Sports Bet. So we talked the one semifinal on the men's side, Drew. Other side, Alcaraz, a monster 6'10" favorite over Taylor Fritz, American plus 440. Is there any way? I mean, it is so seemingly hard to break into the top echelon. I mean, top echelon. Can Fritz finally get it done? Does he have any shot in this match at all?
I mean, if it's now or never for him, this is the ideal surface. These are the ideal conditions for his serve. He's had a really, really, really favorable prep cycle of running up to this one. He wins Stuttgart, quick out in Queens, but it was defensible, and then comes back and wins Eastbourne. So, he's basically been, perfectly prepared for this opportunity. But I got to tell you, the quality of tennis that you're seeing from Alcaraz right now, and maybe I'm being a little bit recency biased because Cam Norrie was exhausted. He'd played a very, very physical 5-setter before heading into that quarterfinal match. That was a non-compete. And Alcaraz now has been able to show you 2 majors in a row. He gets to the quarterfinals. He hits the afterburners, and he is just extremely difficult to beat on a natural surface. Now, I should kind of warn everyone listening, watching. I'm talking my book here. My biggest stake for anything in this tournament, pre-tournament, was Alcaraz to win outright. I had him at like minus 152-ish, and prices available were ranging from plus 120 to plus 150. So I ended up getting a lot of Alcaraz to win this tournament before seeing the draw. And then when we saw the draw, and you realize he only is going to have to go through one of Djokovic and Sinner, probably Sinner. This is all setting up too well. And so I'm going to be surprised and hurting if he ultimately does not come through against Fritz tomorrow. But I do think that what makes his game special and his movement and his natural ability is it all makes total sense to me. Playing tennis on grass is instinctual. You have to have, split second decision making. You have to be able to make outrageous athletic plays, and you have to be comfortable in your movement on the grass surface, regardless of if slippery or, dry. And he has basically passed every test these last 2 years and is your now 2-time champion. And I think going on to be a 3-time champion. But all of this said, Fritz's serve is an absolute missile. It is low. It is really, really difficult to get back into play where it favors you as the returner. And most of what makes Alcaraz, so dynamic on grass is his serve is unbreakable, but he does find ways into return games that kind of present opportunity for him. And he tends to play the high leverage points really well. I worry a bit that there's not going to be a lot of high leverage points until we get to tie breaks here. And tie breaks are a little coin flippy in general. I think if the nerves kind of get to Fritz at all, if he's thinking about these sort of things, this is my chance, now or never, which it is, then, it ultimately could be his undoing. So I don't know. I'm wishing here that this would be a little bit of an easier head to head. I was, softly hoping someone else would come through Q3 and he wouldn't have to play someone with the serve as strong as Fritz's, but here we are.
Speak it into existence. You talk about how hard it is to kind of reach that upper echelon, Drew. Could we be seeing that, though, on the women's side with Anisimova, right? Getting through Sabalenka. Could this be something of a coming out party for her? Do you think she's got a chance against Iga in the final?
Yes, for sure on the first question. If she's perennially a top 10 now, that checks out, considering how good her game is. She has one of the best backhands on tour. She has had one for the last 5 years. Most of the reason she hasn't already gotten to the top of the mountain at this point in her career was sort of off the court, kind of wrinkles related to her coaching, her dad passing, and just kind of being burned out because she's had so much success at such a young age. But she's stepped into kind of a new chapter this year in 2025 in particular. And she put together a Masters 1000 run that was remarkable and was kind of here I am. That was her coming out party. And so, this is sort of confirmation now that she can play with the big girls. And I think ultimately, she's going to be a sneaky bet on at the U.S. Open as, one of the best U.S. and one of the best women in the world.
All right. Any chance of actually winning, though, outright?
My second biggest stake pre-tournament is EGA outright. so I have a rooting interest here against the American. My fair price is about -200. So it's about 2/3 chance. 2/3 chance that EGA wins, 1/3 chance for Anisimova. So should be a good match though.
Great job. We appreciate it. Drew Dinsick, NBC Sports Bet. We'll do it again soon. Thanks.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Connect's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Connect, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Connect 20-plus points at +120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at +118.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, Houston beat the snot out of the Dodgers, 18-1. And this is what happens here. Oral Hershiser doing the game for the Dodgers brings up the cheating scandal, going, they must know the science because they're hitting curveballs like they know it's coming. It's like, oh boy, does he really want to go down that rabbit hole again here? I think this is one of those nights where they got destroyed. Yeah, hey, it happens in baseball here. But just found that an interesting comment by Oral Hershiser. Start bringing up the cheating scandal again.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
You have a head coach in Jim Harbaugh that's proven he will cheat to win. He will win at the biggest stage and doesn't give a damn who cares or finds out, and he'll just move on. That's what I love about a coach. That's the type of coach that I want. Win at all costs. Now, also, at all costs means how are we building this team? Because I actually thought Harbaugh would come in and say, okay, let me just see what the players on the roster is. We'll weed them out after a year, but there's a lot of talent. He built that foundation last year and still made the playoffs.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Tony Gwynn had 107 career at-bats against Greg Maddux. Never struck out once.
Oh, that's nuts.
In 107 times. 107. Cam, if you took the modern player and said, are you going to face Maddux 107 times in a row? Like Vlad Guerrero Jr. and these guys, they'd strike out 62 times type thing.
Exactly.
It'd be 80 times. It'd be whiffing.
Sports Rage tonight. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid as we move along here. Again, special thanks to Drew Dinsick, NBC Sports Bet, talking a little tennis with him. And Dane and I, no doubt, will break it down a little bit more as we get a little bit closer towards the end of the show. And I'm sure Cam has some bets. He's a good tennis guy as well. But we pushed it off a little bit. No big deal. Time for our SGP Same Game Parlay. Not a lot of games to choose from, obviously, so I will select Texas at the LA Angels. 2 500 teams, basically pick them, right? Flip a coin, who's going to win. So I'll go with Texas tonight since they lost last night, so their turn to win tonight against the Angels. 4-game series. So that's -102 when I put it earlier today. Then I'm going to basically use Corey Seager. He has
Looks
been on
like it.
right? I mean, it's just a Seager basically parlay. 1 hit, 2 bases, 1 run, 1 RBI. Why, Scott? Well, he's got 13, as we gave you the 5 on the line. He's got hits in 13 of his last 14 games. He's had 2 bases in 10 of those games. He's had 1 run in 12 of those 14 games, and he's had 1 RBI in 8 of his last 13 games. So he's been on fire. It's taken all season long, but the dude is on fire, and you want to take advantage of that. So he can eclipse all that with 1 home run. There you go. He's got the hit. He's got the bases. He's got the run. He's got the RBI. Don't know if he's going to get that, but chances are he's going to get some of these things. I think hopefully he gets them all, obviously. And then we'll use Zach Neto, one guy on the Angels side, just to bump the odds up. Minus the 310 to get a base hit. He's one of the best hitters in their lineup. So with that said, Doesn't pay a whole heck of a lot, Dane. Plus 430, but returning I didn't want to fool around with the over/under because it's been a high-scoring series, 3 straight overs, and Texas is an under team, so I'm not going to buck that trend again. So I'll just go with Corey Seager to continue to do what he's doing. Texas win and hopefully get a hit out of Neto, and we're turning a basically pick-em even team into 4-1 plus 430.
Yeah, I like that. I also like, Scott, we mentioned it a little bit earlier in the week, how you do throw in a guy on the opposite side, right? Because, you get that kind of negative correlation aspect. And sometimes the books, when you add these legs, they don't actually bump up the overall odds for the parlay that much. So, when you do something that is a little bit outside of the blueprint or the narrative that you have for that game, that's where you're going to get it. But I laugh because I see the graphic and I see Corey Seager, Corey Seager, Corey Seager. I wonder what it would have been if you just put in Corey Seager to go yard. Right? I like the way you do it here. Obviously, you can get it without that. Maybe he gets, he goes 2 for 4 here. He gets the run in one at bat. He gets a ribby in another, without going yard in this one. But I know a guy like Corey Seager to go yard in the game might be around 3 or 4-1 on its own. So I wonder, it sounds like you have that much faith, but you did kind of, distill it a little bit more. So we will be cheering for Corey Seager to be part of the offensive reason that the Texas Rangers win tonight. And I also know that you had Corey Seager as one of your props on 5 on the line. Right. So I was expecting this to be the Rangers in there. I was expecting Seager to be in there. I just didn't expect to see his name in 4 of the 6 boxes, Scott.
Yeah. It was a process, Dane. It was, all right, I like Texas. All right, we'll start there. Then I know Seager has been playing well, so let me put Seager in for a hit. Didn't bump it up that much. And then I said, all right, we'll put him in for 2 bases. That bumped it up a little, but really not that much. And then I was like, all right, let's try an RBI, and that bumped it up some. But then it was like, all right, let's try a run. And eventually that got it to about, really, I don't even think it was 3-1. And then I put the Neto in there, and that bumped it to over 4-1. So I started from the beginning. I could have gone just from the end and just said, all right, why don't I just do Seager for a home run? You're right. I wonder what the odds would have been. But it was it wasn't like I was trying to use all Seager. It just evolved that way. I was stubborn. Again, this is where the German, Polish, Irish, and Italian all kick in. And I wasn't getting off Seager until I had a halfway decent number on my parlay. I was looking for stolen bases. I would have put that in as well. But I said, I better not.
So here's what we need to do, okay? I think first pitch in that game is at 9:35, 9:40. We are on until 10. Luckily, Texas is the visiting team. So what I need, Matt in the back, what I need is when Corey Seager has his first at-bat in the game, which should be when we are still on air, we need some kind of graphic, some kind of notification so we could go live and watch what Seager does in his first at-bat. And Scott, hopefully there's ducks on the pond for you.
Oh, that would be great, right? Little bases loaded, God forbid. I'd even take a single, get the RBIs.
Double to the gap in his first at-bat with a few men on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. That's the way to go. Let's knock a couple of these off. And not to mention, he's, facing a pitcher, the Kohanowitz that really is not that good. And he hasn't really been good all season long. So, I mean, he should, again, the key word should, right? And it's funny, Dane, I always tell people, when things happen that are supposed to happen, boy, this gambling's easy. Oh, it is just so easy, right? But obviously it doesn't happen all the time. But he should have a good night. He's on fire, one of the hottest hitters in baseball right now. He's facing a bum. We're going to get 9 outs as well, as far as not 9 outs, but we're going to get 9 innings of Texas batting since they're the road team, no matter what the score is. So you don't have to worry about them only getting 8 at-bats if they were the home team, if they were leading. So it should be a halfway decent shot at the parlay. Hopefully we get him, and then maybe we could hedge a little bit if Texas is trailing. God forbid. So
okay, I'm interested at that. What I'm also interested, and I hate to say this as a Yankees fan, but I'm interested in your Boston Red Sox right now here as we look at some of the MLB scores, because they are down right now to Tampa 3-1, but we're going into the bottom of the 6th here, Scott. And this is where I think those opportunities come, right? Third time through the lineup, pitcher kind of maybe at the end of his rope. You can get Boston on the comeback at plus 240. You can get them at plus money, getting a run and a half. And I think this could be the time where Boston all of a sudden gets some runs. And you've been talking about how great that offense has been, I think scoring 9 or more in 4 of their last 6 games. This would be the time for them to start to get hot. So I'd be interested in maybe hopping on the Red Sox, maybe to crack a dent in that Tampa 3-1 lead right now as we head to the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. It's funny. You talk about my Red Sox, I'll talk about your Yankees, right?
Yankees,
The Yankees
same
are down
situation.
2-0. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Now, they're getting a little bit more, plus 310. They're being I don't want to jinx you, but they're being, well, actually, I do want to jinx you because you don't want to see them get no hit. They're being no hit through 5. Brian Wu on the hill for the Mariners, pretty good pitcher, right? I mean, they're not going to get no hits, right? But
I don't think so.
You know, I mean, but it does bring up, not quite yet, but I do love doing this, Dane. I love betting on teams after they break up the no-hitter.
Yes.
More times than not, they're trailing. And there's just, I mean, I've seen it 1,000 times, right? There's just a natural letdown from the pitcher, from the team that's trying to throw the no-hitter. There just is. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen teams come back 2, 3, 4, even 5-0. When that guy loses the no-hitter, it's just lost. It's the craziest thing. It's like the faucet is turned off and for Seattle, and in this case, the faucet is turned on for hits for the Yankees. So there's still being no hit. It's got to be at least like 6 innings, get into like the 7th, from the 7th on. And if that's the case, then you wait for them to get a hit, and then you hop on the Yankees, and you should get a pretty decent number.
Here's what I'll also say. Taj Bradley going for Tampa Bay. He has 74 pitches right now. Brian Wu is already at 72 pitches. Okay, so Wu has a long way to go. I mean, he's through, 5, I believe, at this point? And already at 72 pitches. So if he even maintains it, they're going to have some decisions to make. I will say this, though. Maybe you do push him because we got the All-Star break coming on, right? Like, he's not going 5 days from today. So maybe that is kind of a longer leash for a guy like Wu if he is doing something special. But to my point, back in Fenway Park, I think they can start to get to Bradley because he's already at 74 pitches.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I'm looking at Wu's, by the way, run. He's thrown 100 pitches 1 time, 97 2 times, but he's basically a 90-pitch pitcher. Couple of 70s in there, a couple of 80s in there, obviously, as well. But, he generally doesn't go much past 95. So if he's at 72 now, what's he got? Another couple of innings? At
Live
most,
total,
right?
6.5.
Yeah, not bad. In-game live game day continues here on the grid.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Knecht's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Knecht, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Knecht 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, Houston beat the snot out of the Dodgers, 18-1. And this is what happens here. Oral Hershiser doing the game for the Dodgers brings up the cheating scandal, going, they must know the science because they're hitting curveballs that they know it's coming. It's like, oh boy, did you really want to go down that rabbit hole again here? I think this is one of those nights where they got destroyed. Hey, it happens in baseball here. But just found that an interesting comment by Oral Hershiser. Start bringing up the cheating scandal again.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
You have a head coach in Jim Harbaugh that's proven he will cheat to win. He will win at the biggest stage and doesn't give a damn who cares or finds out, and he'll just move on. That's what I love about a coach. That's the type of coach that I want. Win at all costs. Now, also, at all costs means, like, how are we building this team? Because I actually thought Harbaugh would come in and say, okay, let me just see what the players on the roster is. We'll weed them out after a year, but there's a lot of talent. He built that foundation last year and still made the playoffs.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Tony Gwynn had 107 career at-bats against Greg Maddux. Never struck out once.
Oh, that's nuts.
In 107 times. 107. Cam, if you took the modern player and said, are you going to face Maddux 107 times in a row? Like Vlad Guerrero Jr. and these guys, they'd strike out like 62 times type thing.
Exactly.
It'd be like 80 times. It'd be like whiffing.
Sports Rage tonight. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dane, hour number one. We got baseball. We got a little summer basketball with Bronny and really Bronny and Cooper Flag. To me, his 15 minutes of fame is really up, but this is a Cooper Flag thing. But it's his debut, Cooper Flag, so if you're into that, Dane's got the scores for that. And then we got the WNBA game to keep an eye on, and we'll continue to preview the Wimbledon before everything is said and done. We got Mark Vecchio next hour. SportsGrid Radio TV host, do a little baseball with him, and then we got Cam Stewart next hour as well. He'll recap the golf picks that he gave out yesterday, hopefully with some winners with some of those plays, or at least in a position to win. So looking at a no-hitter in baseball early on through 5. In the top of the 5th inning, Seattle 2-0 with Brian Rue on the hill over the Yankees. We got the Devil Dogs 3-1 over the Red Sox, and then the White Sox and Guardians in a rain delay. They've yet to begin in Chicago. And then the Cardinals, Dane, off to a quick little 2-0 lead over the Washington Nationals, bottom of the 4th inning. Any interest in the Cardinal game tonight?
Not really. We were talking about it in the break. I think, I'd be interested in this Yankees team total here. It's gone all the way down to 1.5, and the juice is not horrible either. Respect to Brian Wu here, but he's at 88 pitches through only 5, right? Because we're in the top of the 6th in that game. Right. So I don't think he is long for this one. He may be pitching really well, and you've talked about it, right, Scott? You mentioned as soon as kind of the shine is off the rose, if they do get a hit, sometimes the floodgates open. But also, regardless, even if he's doing something really special, he ain't going to throw 120 pitches. He ain't going to go 9 innings. And then all of a sudden, with the bullpen, especially if this stays kind of as a 2-0 game, I can still see the Yankees getting to 2. Now, I know that we are off next week for the Midsummer Classic, so maybe they stretch Wu out a little bit more, but he's already at 88 through 5. That is not a good ratio. I think he's only got an inning or two max left there, Scotty. Yeah. The other thing I'm going to say is in this Summer League game, right now, you got Dallas up on LA. Cooper Flag just went to the bench, Scott, and Dallas is up, yet they're plus 110 on the money line. They're getting the 1.5 or 2.5 points right now on the live line. And that's why I don't bet Summer League, right? Because how are these guys figuring out what the rotation is going to be with these rookies, who's going to be trying, who emerges, and things like that? So I personally stay away from it unless I have some kind of beat reporter, unless I kind of have some kind of insight. It's like preseason in the NFL, which is very hard to take. But you mentioned how Bronny's 15 minutes of fame is up, and I agree with you. But Scott, and I know you sometimes have takes that I find interesting or that I don't agree with. I agree that his 15 minutes of fame are up, but I got to tell you the truth. I almost feel bad for the kid, okay? Because it's not his fault. It's really not, right? He's LeBron's son, and he gets all this publicity. He gets maybe drafted when he shouldn't have. He comes out of college maybe before he should have, and he just has such more of a bright light on him than anybody else who is the 53rd overall pick should have. He's rushed up to be with the big club last year to play some minutes with his dad. None of that is his fault. It's almost like, child actors that kind of get ruined because of the spotlight on him. None of this is his fault. This was all LeBron's dream to play with his son. And I actually think that Bronny himself is getting something of a raw deal. I almost feel bad for him because he's not being able to get the chance to play and develop in the way any other normal marginal prospect should.
Yeah. He did, and he also got the big contract, that second-round picks don't get, Right. But somewhere along the line, I mean, I do agree with you for the most part. Like, he doesn't come across as a jerk. This is not, Shador Sanders, right? I mean, he's not getting caught for speeding and this and all the other dopey things that Sanders has done, right? It's not the kid. So
he's just not as good. He's just not the caliber of an NBA player, but that's not his fault. And the pressure and the spotlight, I don't think, like you said, it's undue onto him because he is a good kid. He just loves basketball. And I just think the pressure is really coming to him, mostly just because of the last name.
Somewhere, though, he's got to be held responsible for what's happening to him. Like, all right, so he's 18, 19 years old, whatever he is, and dad says, get out of college. All right, I'm 19 years old. Dad, you say get out of college, 18 years old, I'm going to listen to you. He gets drafted by the Lakers. I'm sure LeBron obviously had a say in that. Okay, Dad, you could have told the Lakers not to draft me, but you know better. Oh, okay. So we're okay with all, but eventually he's got to say, Dad, you know what? Enough. You go sign with some other team. If you're going to leave the Lakers, I'll stay here, or you stay here, and I'm going to leave and try and make a name for my own and go to an organization where they have no ties to you, and I'm just going to make it or break it. I'm going to fail on my own and let me fail eventually. I got enough money now to live, comfortably. I would get like a $4 or $5 million crazy contract for a second-round pick, which is unheard of. And Dad could always give him money, obviously, but somewhere, Dane, he does have to step up and say, all right, you know what? This is me. This is my life, and I got to take responsibility for what's happening to me.
I understand what you're saying there on some level. That's very hard to do, though, when you're a 19, 20-year-old kid and your father is LeBron James, right? So I get that. I hear you. But to me, I honestly think LeBron is doing his son a disservice. Okay, that's the way I would phrase it. And this is more of a LeBron issue because LeBron's hopes, dreams, and goals and needing to stay with some other notch on his belt. A lot of this is not the kid, Scott, in my opinion. Maybe down the road, he needs to exit the shadow and stuff like that and kind of make his own way. I get it. But I really do believe LeBron is doing a disservice to his kid, the publicity, his own development, and just allow the kid to make his own way.
What would happen? Like, he's not going to get cut from the team as long as LeBron's on the team, right? So let's say LeBron plays for 2, 3, maybe more years, and then LeBron goes into the front office of a club and signs Bronny. Where's your cutoff point of like, all right, this is ridiculous. He's absolutely only in the NBA because of Dad.
Well, listen, I mean, the kid is, in all likelihood, let's be real. Like, he still could develop. He's only 19, 20, right?
Yeah, he could. Yeah.
He also, at this point, he is a G League level talent, period. End of sentence. And if that's who you are, but someone's going to offer you a contract, what are you going to do? Say no? We said the same thing about Devin Booker last night. If someone puts the piece of paper in front of you to sign, you sign the piece of paper. I just think LeBron is putting Bronny, his own son, in a very hard spot.
Yeah, that's true, but I still would like Bronny to say somewhere, and thanks for that, but I'm going to go play baseball instead. Black Cloud coming up next.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Connect's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Connect, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Connect 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, Houston beat the snot out of the Dodgers, 18-1. And this is what happens here. Oral Hershiser doing the game for the Dodgers brings up the cheating scandal, going, they must know the science because they're hitting curveballs that they know it's coming. It's like, oh boy, did you really want to go down that rabbit hole again here? I think this is one of those nights where they got destroyed. Yeah, hey, it happens in baseball here. But just found that an interesting comment by Oral Hershiser. Start bringing up the cheating scandal again.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Dude, you have a head coach in Jim Harbaugh that's proven he will cheat to win. He will win at the biggest stage and doesn't give a damn who cares or finds out, and he'll just move on. That's what I love about a coach. That's the type of coach that I want. Win at all costs. Now, also, at all costs means, like, how are we building this team? Because I actually thought Harbaugh would come in and say, okay, let me just see what the players on the roster is. We'll weed them out after a year, but there's a lot of talent. He built that foundation last year and still made the playoffs.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Tony Gwynn had 107 career at-bats against Greg Maddux. Never struck out once.
Oh, that's nuts.
In 107 times. 107. Cam, if you took the modern player and said, are you going to face Maddux 107 times in a row? Like Vlad Guerrero Jr. and these guys, they'd strike out like 62 times type thing.
Exactly.
It'd be like 80 times. It'd be like whiffing.
Sports Rage tonight. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. It is In-Game Live Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dane, hour number one, closing it. Did that go fair? No, it fell. Closing out hour number one, as we always do, our Black Cloud Play of the Day. All right, we're digging deep here. We're desperate. We have never said this. We've lost the first three Black Cloud plays. We have not. We've been doing this since February, and we've never gone 0-3. Sorry, folks. Still 23 games over 500, but it's what have you done for me lately, Scott? We lost with San Diego first five last night. Dylan Cease, he got lit up by the Arizona Diamondbacks. That was a disaster. So not that many games tonight. We're going to go back to that Texas game, kind of doubling down, which we don't do too often. But we're going to do it tonight because we're going to use Corey Seager. We're going to use the run. I won't ask you to lay 390 with one hit or even two bases. We will go with Corey Seager one run. He scored a run in 12 of his last 14 games. As I told you, the Ranger team is a good under team. It is. It's a great under team, but they have scored a lot lately. In this series, all three games have gone way over, not even close to having an under. They put a bunch of runs on the board. Angels figure to do the same. Texas the same. You got two mediocre pitchers at best. Kohanowitz pitching there for the Angels. So Seager should get plenty of opportunities. The guys behind him should get plenty of opportunities. So he's 13 of 21, by the way, against Los Angeles, the Angels, this season. So he's going to get on base. You're counting on the other guys to come through, but like I said, they have. I thought about doing the hit, but I wouldn't do that. I thought about the two bases at minus 150, but, maybe he goes 1 for 4. But I do, or maybe he gets on, maybe they walk him because they realize the guy's hitting the snot out of the ball. So you're not going to get your two bases because of that. But he will get a run, though, because of that, because he's on base. So I think that's the safest way. Corey Seager, one run or more, minus 160. Little juicy, but we'll take it, Dave.
I like this. This is basically the Corey Seager episode of In-Game Live, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I'm with you.
down.
You liked him all over. You liked him in the 5 on the line. You liked him in the SGP. You like him in the Black Cloud. So again, next hour when we get Corey Seager's first at bat, I'm hoping he goes yard for you and you just clean sweep it all right off the bat there, Scotty. But I like that. You clearly have kind of confidence and faith in Corey Seager tonight, so I am with you. One other update I wanted to give you on, because I think it is now interesting. Brian Wu is through 6, pitching very, very well. However, he is now, Scott, at 88 pitches through 6. So I'm telling you, I think he's only got 7 max left in him. And if you want to bet on the idea that the Yankees can eventually get to Wu now that he's at the end of his leash, or that they can get to the bullpen, the Yankees team total at over 1.5 is now plus 142, Scott. Plus 142 for the Yankees to eventually break free, whether it's the fact where they're free of Brian Wu after what I think will be 7, or if they ultimately get to him. But he is at 88 pitches through 6. He is still pitching very, very well.
I tell you what, he's not going the distance, right? 88 pitches, and he's got 3 more innings. So because of that, Dane, I wouldn't be surprised, knowing baseball the way it is, I would be surprised to see him be done. And, if he had one more
Not
inning,
even give him a chance.
Maybe not even give him a chance. And why, Scott? Well, because the manager doesn't want that hassle. He doesn't want this guy to have 105 pitches through 8 and then have a no-hitter. It's like, oh, what do I do now? I can't take him out now, can I? So what do? You prevent that. And how do you prevent that? By taking him out through 6 and just say, well, he's got 88 pitches. There's no way he was going to go the next 3, so we might as well yank him now. This is what he generally throws, in the upper 80s, low 90s. It is a 2-0 game, and ultimately you still want to win the game. That's the main picture. But I could see, him being pulled after 6. Like I said, knowing baseball the way it is, they're so conservative with these pitches. But I think at worst, he goes one more. So I do like that Yankee team total, the 1.5 you mentioned before. And it's interesting. They're giving you 5.5. You guys throwing a no-hitter. It's only 2-0, 7th inning, and they're still giving you 5.5. So it sounds like the boys in Vegas are expecting some runs here as well.
Yeah, and then also, by the way, Taj Bradley, who is pitching really good for Tampa Bay, he has been relieved. Baker comes in, and the first 2 Red Sox, Story and Gonzalez, get on. So now Boston have men on first and second, nobody out in the bottom of the 7th. So that could be kind of a cautionary tale of what could happen if Seattle pulls Wu as well.
Yeah, and they just locked the line. I was going to say, taking a stab at the Red Sox, they were still giving you plus money, 134, but they just locked the line. So I don't know if they're going to have
Base knock.
Oh, yeah, it's got to be, right? Because it can't be a pitching change because he didn't face three
No, it's
batters.
a base knock. I'm looking at it live. It's a base knock for Boston. We'll see and update the scores when we come back here.
Wow. There we go.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Knecht's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Knecht, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Knecht 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, Houston beat the snot out of the Dodgers, 18-1. And this is what happens here. Oral Hershiser doing the game for the Dodgers brings up the cheating scandal, going, oh, they must know the science because they're hitting curveballs that they know it's coming. It's like, oh, boy, did you really want to go down that rabbit hole again here? I think this is one of those nights where they got destroyed. Yeah, hey, it happens in baseball here. But just found that an interesting comment by Oral Hershiser. Start bringing up the cheating scandal again.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Dude, you have a head coach in Jim Harbaugh that's proven he will cheat to win. He will win at the biggest stage and doesn't give a damn who cares or finds out, and he'll just move on. That's what I love about a coach. That's the type of coach that I want. Win at all costs. Now, also, at all costs means, like, how are we building this team? Because I actually thought Harbaugh would come in and say, okay, let me just see what the players on the roster is. We'll weed them out after a year, but there's a lot of talent. He built that foundation last year and still made the playoffs.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Tony Gwynn had 107 career at-bats against Greg Maddux. Never struck out once.
Oh, that's nuts.
In 107 times. 107. Cam, if you took the modern player and said, are you going to face Maddux 107 times in a row? Like Vlad Guerrero Jr. and these guys, they'd strike out like 62 times type thing.
Exactly.
It'd be like 80 times. It'd be like whiffing.
Sports Rage tonight. Only on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dane, hour number 2. Still a lot to get to. Just a couple of quick updates here. Cleveland and the White Sox got rained out. They just postponed that one. They were in a delay there. Never got underway. So I've no doubt to probably play a doubleheader tomorrow since that's game 1. Well, or sometime this weekend. It's game 1 of their weekend series here. Red Sox have scored 3 in the bottom of the 7th, still batting, nobody out, running around second base, now leading Tampa Bay 4-3. So if you grab them earlier, like we suggested, because they've been on fire, I don't know if they're going to get their 9 runs in 5 of their last 6 games, but they're on their way, and most importantly, they have the lead. And top of the 7th, still Seattle, still batting, so we'll keep you posted on the no-hitter with Brian Wu, see if he comes out for the bottom of the 7th with 88 pitches. Do have a game that's going to get underway here in just a couple of moments, Dane. That's Atlanta and the A's rubber game with their 3-game set with, oddly enough, A's hitting 5 home runs 2 days ago. Braves responded with 5 home runs last night. So if there's a prop bet on who's going to hit the 5 home runs, I want to play it. So what do you like in this game?
So listen, if the A's go ahead and hit home runs, it would be against Spencer Strider, the former NL Cy Young Award winner, who, as you know, had the kind of elbow surgery and kind of coming back this year. But let me tell you something. I thought this was a bad number. I saw most places for his strikeout prop was hanging 7.5, but there was an 8.5 out there as well. And quite frankly, I'm going under this. And remember, Dylan Cease didn't pitch well last night, but he still got to 8 strikeouts. Getting 9 strikeouts is a ton. And to be quite honest, it's something Spencer Strider, even though Spencer Strider had 200-plus strikeouts in that big Cy Young season, has only done once so far this season. Strider's had 10 starts. He's only gotten to 9 once, and that was in a start against the Colorado Rockies, where he did strike out 13. But you throw that out, he hasn't gotten there. He is still over a strikeout an inning, 63 strikeouts and 55 innings pitched. But also, that's the other part here, Scott. He's had 10 starts so far this season, 55 innings pitched. That is not a ton. We're talking about not 6 per start. He has only gone over 6 innings in one start so far this season. And I think he's going to have to go at least that far to get to 9 against the Athletics, who are around mid-pack. They strike out 21% of the time, so it's not like a Colorado Rockies team. You put it all together, and Strider, who is still coming back from injury, has not gone more than 6 in 9 of his 10 starts. I don't think he goes that far. I think the 7.5 in most places was, something to contend with, but 8.5 is a number. I will go under 8.5 strikeouts for Strider tonight, Scott.
Yeah, and I'm looking at his log, Dane, and I know FanDuel earlier today had 7.5, and even at 7.5, he only hit 8 strikeouts 3 times. And then it all came in a 3-game sequence where he was just like, I don't know what happened to him, but he had 8, 8, 13, or 13 first, then 8, and 8.
That was the Colorado start, the 13.
Right. But outside of that, it's 4, it's 3, it's 5, it's 6. He does have a 7 in there, but whatever he did for those 3 starts, okay. But that's the only point. Even if the number you have is 7.5, and 7.5 has overjuiced, so you probably can find the 8.5 like Dane has, because over 7.5 is minus 140 and change. I don't. You said it. I know it's the A's, but in that ballpark where we've had 2 overs, a ton of runs,
maybe they can get to him.
Chances are, but they get to him, and I don't know. Like I said, you got to do pretty well to get 8 strikeouts.
And the thing is, also, you're looking at his game log, Scott. You see there also, he's only gone more than 6 innings in a start once. All season long. Okay, and so I know he's a big-time strikeout pitcher, but in order to get to 9, even if you got your stuff, you're going to need to go over 6 innings. And I don't think with this prized asset that they have, they are not going to, on a random Thursday in Sacramento, push this man, okay? So it's going to be hard for him to get 9 in 6 or fewer innings. You put it all together, I don't think he gets there.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I like that play a lot. So I don't have a good read on the game itself. Like I said, A's hit 5 homers on Tuesday. Braves responded with 5 homers last night. We've had 2 overs. It's been an up and down, kind of crazy series, feast or famine as far as the bats are concerned, because it's, Atlanta that scored a ton of runs yesterday, and then obviously the A's the day before. So I'll probably lay off that. It's one of those where I just kind of like the props. I'll give you one in this game. JP Sears. His out is 15.5. Now he's 8 and 10 on the season, going, that's 5 in the 3rd innings, right? But 8 and 10 on the season, not bad, 50-50 basically, but only 1 and 7 at home, Dane. He's only gone past the 5th inning 1 time in 8 home starts. And the way the Braves were hitting the ball yesterday, and Acuna with a couple of home runs, I don't think he's pitching into the 6th inning in this game either. I would go under Sears 15.5.
All right, I like that. I got an update for you in the Bronx that I think helps both of our perspectives. Jorge Polanco has gone yard, a 3-run shot for the Seattle Mariners. So now Seattle is up 5-0. And I wonder, what does that do to the calculus vis-a-vis our guy Brian Wu, right? Now, do you think, we got a little leash, let's see if he can, pitch a 5-pitch inning in the 7th? Or, to your point, is it even more evidence like, you know what, now I got a cushion. I don't even need Wu doing something special to try to win this game. I can still go to my bullpen right now. And to your point, not be forced into a hard decision at 7 1/3 when he's at 109 pitches. I think it's really interesting. I still like the over a 1.5 for the Yankees in this one. But do you think it makes it an easier call or a tougher call for the manager vis-a-vis Wu?
No, you hit it on the head. I think easier. I think a lot easier to keep Wu on the bench. It's just like, you know what? Now I don't have to really worry about, winning or losing the game. No one's going to, question me. Why are you taking a guy out in a 2-run game in the 7th inning, throwing a no-hitter? Now it's like, okay, your bullpen blew it, right? So I think it makes it easier for him not to pitch in the 7th inning. I really do. Personally, I would do it. But as we said, he's not. It's almost impossible to think, unless, like I said, if he gets a 5-pitch inning. But even then, he's still not going to go 2 more innings. So,
but I like the way you're saying it, Scott. you almost want to take the harder question off the table for the manager, right? Because like you said, let's say he gets a really good inning and he's standing at 95 pitches through 7. And then you maybe push it. And then he's at, 109 pitches through 8. Because you don't want to get there. Even you got the All-Star break looming, right? So a reporter could ask him that. Like, hey, why don't you just give him a chance? He's got longer rest. But we've all seen it. The name Johan Santana comes to mind, who I think went 143 pitches in his no-no for the Mets. But I think you're right on the idea that you don't want to box yourself into making that tough call, and maybe you just take it off the table. And now that you got a 5-run lead, maybe it makes it easier to do so.
Coincidence, or is there something to that? Because Johan was never the same.
No, he wasn't.
Never the same from that start. I mean, is that, throw in an extra, I forget how many, it was in the 140s, wasn't it?
It was over 140. It was over 140.
Wow. Yeah. And then you ask the pitcher, is it worth it? All right, basically he didn't retire by any stretch, but
no, but he was never the same.
Yeah, is that, if you're a pitcher and this is what's going to happen if you stay in there, do you want to do it or not? I wonder what most pitchers would say.
If I'm in my 30s, I'll do it. But if in my mid-20s, no, I won't.
Definitely not. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we'll let you know who's on the mound for Seattle. I still like the over 1.5 because I'm just betting on the Yankees not getting no hit, and that's okay with him out there. So we'll let you know who's pitching for Seattle, bottom 7 with the no-hitter when we come back. In-game live, game day, Scott and Dane Martinez, hour number 2 right here on the grid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back to In-Game Live. Game day here on the grid. Hour number 2, Scott and Dane, as we check out a little baseball, a little WNBA we'll go back to in a little bit. And we got the Bronny Cooper flag basketball game. And we got a no-hitter. And yes, Brian Wu is on the mound. He just got one out in the bottom of the 7th inning. We weren't sure with 80-plus pitches if he would, but he's there. So we'll keep you posted on that. In the meantime, let us bring in SportsGrid Radio, SportsGrid TV host. You see it here all the time here on the grid, Tom Vecchio, to the program. Tom, Scott, and Dane, we got a couple baseball games on the board we could put a couple shekels on, including Atlanta and the A's. Dane and I were just talking about some of the props. Who you like in the game, or you got to go over, under, or Rays or A's in that one?
So I like the over. The game just started, so the live total dropped to 9.5. But I got the over 10 this morning. I talked to Ben and Donnie this morning on the early line. I really like it. First off, we all know that the park factor is fantastic since they moved to Sacramento. But more importantly, it's 100 degrees or it's 99 degrees at first pitch. It is unbelievable hitting weather. And when we look at JP Sears, the pitcher for the Athletics, I got to say, first off, the line for this game is bananas. It's almost minus 200 for the Braves for playing terribly. JP Sears, despite recent results being somewhat strong, he's still not a good pitcher. Like, that's just what it comes down to. Like, every pitcher can go through these stretches. Every hitter's bad. Great hitters, I should say, are going to be bad in short time frames, which is essentially what we're getting the opposite from JP Sears. When you have a 50% fly ball rate and we're dealing with a park factor such as this and 100-degree weather, it is a recipe for disaster. I like over 10. It's dropped to 9.5. I would still take it there.
Hey, Tom, I like when you talk about the 50% fly ball rate in that weather, right? And so that's got to be part of your calculus when it comes to Ronald Acuna Jr. as well. In that bandbox, him getting one up in there, maybe going shopping to the gap or going yaya.
Yeah. So I like Acuna also over 2.5, not 2.5, I should say over 1.5 total bases to get to 2 total bases. You got to get that line. In game, I got a pregame at minus 130. I really like it. So when we look at JP Sears, if we isolate some of his righty split numbers, he's a lefty pitcher going up against righty hitters. If we look at his ISO allowed, which is his raw power allowed, it's nearly 250, which is obviously horrible. And then we look at, okay, we have a 50% fly ball rate. We have a pitcher who has a 17% strikeout rate versus righties when the league average is at 20%. So he's a below league average strikeout pitcher, although he did strike out Acuna in his first at-bat. It's going to happen. When he gets hit hard, and those balls are going for fly balls, 50% versus righties. So when I see and add this all together, we get Acuna at nearly even money at minus 130. I still like to say it's somewhat even money. And we get him in a fantastic hitting environment when I already like the over to begin with. Like, too much of it lines up for me to say this game's not going to have runs and the best hitters aren't going to be showing up.
Hey, Scott, real quick. Brian Wu is through 7. And he had a 7-pitch inning. He gets Grisham, he gets Judge, and he gets back to back to back. And he is now through 7, standing at 92 pitches. To your point, Scott, I know we'll talk about it a little bit later because we got Tom on giving out some great stuff here. But we were talking about the threat for the manager having to deal with this. If he has a quick inning, he gets through 2, 3, 4 in the Yankee lineup with a grand total of 7 innings. We have the no through 7, 92 pitches for Brian Wu. Sorry, Scott, go ahead.
That's all right. No, I'll throw it to Tom. What do you think, Tom? Is he going to throw a no-hitter? He didn't get any strikeouts, unfortunately. I know we were talking before.
I know.
You need him to get 1 strikeout.
Plus 210.
On 5.
Plus 210 for a no-hitter. And minus 125 for a team no-hitter for Seattle right now.
Okay.
Who to throw the no-no? Plus 210 for the Mariners to get 6 more outs in a row is now minus 125.
Ultimately, I would say I think it actually comes down to, so he just got 2, 3, 4 out, so it'd be 5, 6, 7. I honestly think it comes down to the bottom of the 8th, because if he gets through the bottom of the 8th, obviously it's like, if he gives up a hit, then it's over. But I think he'll struggle more with the bottom portion of the line because there'll be more free swinging. Like, I think they're just going to go out there and just be like, we just got to get so they're going to be undisciplined at the plate. And if he can get through that, I actually think he can get through the bottom portion and then the top portion of the Yankees lineup. I think he'll do it if he can get through this inning, which I know sounds silly, but
where for you is kind of the threshold? Let's say we say he's at 92 pitches right now, right?
Yeah.
Let's say he gets through the 8th, but he's at 105. You run him out there for the 9th? Let's say he's through the 8th.
You have to. You have to. His season high is 100. That came on May 7th, which I just saw. So 100, but you got to think, if he has 100 pitches, how many times does he throw in between innings? That's like another 15 pitches every time he's out there in between innings or whatever it is. So he's already up to like 130. Let him go.
All-Star break too. All right. Would you make this bet?
I can't believe
plus 210.
Yeah,
plus
3-1.
210 for Wu, minus 125 for Seattle.
No. I mean, it's a short answer. They're just.
What would it take? Like the New York FanDuel had it at 3-1. Don't ask why, but it said, will either team throw a no-hitter? And it had yes 3-1, plus 3-1. So if that's not enough, 2 seconds ago. They just
3-1. I would still say. I mean, I think 3-1's like if you want to have fun with it, but it's not. The odds aren't good, obviously. If you just want to root something in live, that's okay. But the odds don't make it good.
Right. Overall, you don't get that many.
Right.
6, that's right. And they got a runner on base. Now, the last thing he wants is to have, the Mariners, take a half hour here to get out of the top.
A big inning, yeah.
That's also
and sitting there. But that's why I think it's interesting to see the big difference between Wu doing it at plus 210, at least where I'm looking at, but for the team to do it at minus 125. That's a big gap for just the idea that he gets through 8, but at 113 pitches, and they run out the closer.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. If he gets through the 8th, I don't think because if he gets through the 8th, that means he's going to pitch fully the 9th. And if he doesn't win the 210, the team's not winning the minus 125. Because if he gives up a hit, then it's over. You lose both. They won't pull him out if he gets through the 8th, is like the point that I'm making. So if he gets through the 8th, they'll let him go through the 9th. And then if he just gives up a hit, I don't want to be losing on juice at minus 125.
Right.
It's the way I
goes back to. Yeah. Although I don't know, man. Is it automatic that he wouldn't, if he's at 110 pitches, would they not throw him out there? Or would they not? I don't know if they really would. I don't know.
Better not walk a batter in the 8th. He better not walk a batter on a full count.
That he better not do. He better not get anybody on base. Yeah. Tom Vecchio. Tom, great job, man. As always, we're doing it. Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Knecht's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Knecht, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Knecht 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, Houston beat the snot out of the Dodgers, 18-1. And this is what happens here. Oral Hershiser doing the game for the Dodgers brings up the cheating scandal, going, they must know the science because they're hitting curveballs that they know it's coming. It's like, oh boy, did you really want to go down that rabbit hole again here? I think this is one of those nights where they got destroyed. Yeah, hey, it happens in baseball here. But just found that an interesting comment by Oral Hershiser. Start bringing up the cheating scandal again.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Dude, you have a head coach in Jim Harbaugh that's proven he will cheat to win. He will win at the biggest stage and doesn't give a damn who cares or finds out, and he'll just move on. That's what I love about a coach. That's the type of coach that I want. Win at all costs. Now, also, at all costs means like, how are we building this team? Because I actually thought Harbaugh would come in and say, okay, let me just see what the players on the roster is. We'll weed them out after a year, but there's a lot of talent. He built that foundation last year and still made the playoffs.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Tony Gwynn had 107 career at-bats against Greg Maddux. Never struck out once.
Oh, that's nuts.
In 107 times. 107. Cam, if you took the modern player and said, are you going to face Maddux 107 times in a row? Like Vlad Guerrero Jr. and these guys, they'd strike out like 62 times type thing.
Exactly.
It'd be like 80 times. It'd be like whiffing.
Sports Rage tonight. Only on SportsGrid.
Back in game live, game day here on the grid. Scott and Dane, hour number 2. Keeping an eye on Seattle and the Yankees heading to the bottom of the 8th inning. Not sure who's pitching for Seattle, but if it is Brian Rue, he's working on a no-hitter. Might be a team no-hitter, but he's got no-hitter going. Not a perfect game. Just looked it up, Dane, in the break here as well. Just taking a look at his game log and see how many pitches. He's thrown 100 pitches one time. He's at 92. He's got a little bit ways to go with 2 innings, but interestingly enough, he threw 6 1/3 shutout innings against the Yankees back in May. He's got 8 or 7 under his book right now. So he's thrown 13 1/3 shutout innings, allowing just 4 hits with 11 strikeouts against your Yankees. You better hope the Yankees don't face this dude in the postseason. I'll tell you that. He'll be the ace for Seattle no matter what all the other pitchers are doing. Yankees can't hit this.
You're right, but listen, he's a good pitcher. I mean, his season ERA is 2.60. His season WHIP is under 1, Scott. It's at 0.92. So, he is a good pitcher. And I got to tell you, I really do think the kind of wrinkle in all this is that we're approaching the All-Star break. This is his last start of the first half, regardless. His turn wouldn't come around again, So, and then he's going to have the week off. Seattle's not playing again until Friday. He is, I believe, their 3rd starter in the rotation behind Kirby, behind Gilbert, maybe even behind Castillo. So the way I look at it, he's not starting again on his normal turn until July 20th or maybe even the 21st. So I actually think that long break might give everybody a little bit more, chance that he's going to actually go out there and he can go 110. He can go 115. Now, we don't know if that is ultimately a long-term good decision, but I think the fact that his next start is pushed back over a week actually gives them more reason to let him give it a try.
All right, bet the Yankees now. No-hitter is over. Nobody out. Bottom of the 8th inning, he just gave up a base hit.
There it
one
is.
Of the Yankees. All right, so now I bet put a couple sprinkles. I mean, you're down 5. That's a lot. So, but I would definitely take the Yankees right now plus 3.5 runs, plus 124. And if there was a bet, will the Yankees get another runner on base this inning, Dane, I would take the bet. And they're going to leave them in the game.
Already they have.
Is there really?
Jazz Chisholm singled, and then Ben Rice singled as well. So, it's now 1st and 3rd. It's 1st and 3rd, nobody out, I believe.
I'm telling you, I've seen this play out so many times.
So that's that over 1.5 we saw at plus money.
Right. We got that. So you really don't even have to do the 3.5 if you got over 1.5 because the Yankees would need to score 2 runs. So you win your bet that way. So why take a chance? But if you don't have that bet, I would take the Yankees plus 3.5 runs. They're still giving you plus 124 on FanDuel. I've seen this play out. It's amazing how many once that no-hitter, it's just a deflation from everybody on Seattle. And this is deep enough into the game, 8th inning, where everyone's thinking that. I would take the guy out now. He's got to be close to 100 pitches. He's done his, clearly whatever he was doing for the first 7 is not what he's doing in the 8th inning. I don't want to blow this game.
He's in there to face Austin Wells, it looks like. 1st and 3rd, nobody out. He's at 97 pitches, and he is facing Austin Wells right now. I guess that 3-run shot that I told you from Polanco to make it from a 2-0 game to a 5-0 game is really big here. But I actually kind of hope that they leave Wu in, if you want to know the truth. Maybe the Yankees' 3rd time around can get to him because I'm rooting that team total over 1.5 to get home.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. At this point, who knows what the reliever's going to do? He might be great. Whereas with Wu, 2 straight hits.
And you're not bringing in your A reliever here, Scott, right? With a 5-run lead, you're not bringing in your high leverage guys either.
Right. Not in the 8th inning, maybe 9th inning if the Yankees score a run or so. But this is, right now, I'd take him out of the game. And I'm pretty, let him stay. But I gave the guy a chance. Then you kept him in for 1 more batter. And now you're going to keep him in for a 3rd batter. All right.
Well, we know Vecchio wants him to stay in because he needs that strikeout. Yeah. He needs that strikeout. So Vecchio wants him to stay. We'll see if he gets it. 1-2 count on Wells. We'll see what happens. This is an interesting lynch point here on In Game Live. For Vecchio strikeouts, for my team total, but the no-no is gone in the Bronx.
Yeah, I tell you, that's funny how betting is with some of this stuff, right? If you have a strikeout pitcher over and you hear the guy threw 7 innings of shutout strikeout or of no hit baseball, you're thinking, oh, I gotta have 6 strikeouts. I must have hit that, right? And then you look at and he might not hit that, believe it or not. So, all right, so 5-0 Seattle Yanks. Runners on first and third. Wells still batting, bottom of the 8th inning. We'll keep you posted on that. Red Sox win 4-3. Change. More coming up.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Knecht's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Knecht, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Knecht 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, Houston beat the snot out of the Dodgers, 18-1. And this is what happens here. Oral Hershiser doing the game for the Dodgers brings up the cheating scandal, going, oh, they must know the science because they're hitting curveballs that they know it's coming. It's like, oh, boy, did you really want to go down that rabbit hole again here? I think this is one of those nights where they got destroyed. Yeah, hey, it happens in baseball here. But just found that an interesting comment by Oral Hershiser. Start bringing up the cheating scandal again.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Dude, you have a head coach in Jim Harbaugh that's proven he will cheat to win. He will win at the biggest stage and doesn't give a damn who cares or finds out, and he'll just move on. That's what I love about a coach. That's the type of coach that I want. Win at all costs. Now, also, at all costs means, like, how are we building this team? Because I actually thought Harbaugh would come in and say, okay, let me just see what the players on the roster is. We'll weed them out after a year, but there's a lot of talent. He built that foundation last year and still made the playoffs.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Tony Gwynn had 107 career at-bats against Greg Maddux. Never struck out once.
Oh, that's nuts.
In 107 times. 107. Cam, if you took the modern player and said, are you going to face Maddux 107 times in a row? Like Vlad Guerrero Jr. and these guys, they'd strike out like 62 times type thing.
Exactly.
It'd be like 80 times. It'd be like whiffing.
Sports Rage tonight. Only on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dane checking out a little baseball, little WNBA. We'll say final minute. Vegas leading Washington 68-67. 51 seconds left. So we need overtime because we're sitting on an original over on that one. We made a double overtime with that one. But the main story, Yankees 5-1, Dane. They did get a sac fly. They took Wu out of the game, so it's 5-1. Seattle leading New York. The Yankees still have a runner on first base with one out. You brought up a good point. As long as they don't hit into a double play, that does guarantee Judge an at-bat in the bottom of the ninth inning. If it, well, they'll definitely need to get there. So even if it's like no more runs, as long as they don't hit into a double play, he's guaranteed at least one more bat. Although 5-1, the intensity might not be there if that's the case. But this is the inning. They took Wu out, 100-plus pitches, did a good job. And hopefully we get one more run out of your Yankees tonight.
Yeah, listen, that team total we were telling you about at 1.5 is definitely still alive. And to your point, listen, if it stays 5-1, then it's a non-save situation, right, for a Judge at bat in the ninth as well. So I'm already thinking the game has sailed with Seattle at 5-1. I'm just needing the Yankees to get one extra run. So I'm looking at all the scenarios where I can get Judge to the plate against who is not the high leverage reliever there for Seattle. But we'll see. Volpe is struggling with a 1-2 count right now, and it is Ben Rice on first base. So this is interesting. But to your point, they do take Wu out. He finishes with 103 pitches. Does give up his first run against the Yankees all season.
Yeah, actually, I think it would be a save. Generally speaking, it's as long as the tying runs on the on-deck circle, which makes no sense. Then it's
No, but I'm
considered a
saying
save
if it's
situation.
5-1 going into the ninth and you start the ninth clean, then it's a 4-run lead.
Yeah, it'd still be a safe situation.
I think it's 3 runs, but okay.
I'm pretty sure it's because I always remember it being stupid, like where it always had to be where you could have had the bases loaded and the guy still not the guy at bat, or the guy at bat would be the tying run. So with the bases loaded and the guy at bat, it's a 4-run. Yeah, we'll see. I think it is, but I could be wrong. A little dense on some of these things. So St. Louis 6-0 over Washington, getting a ton of runs so far there, bottom of the 6th inning. And let me just double check. We're talking no-hitter with the Yankees all the time, right? Imagine Washington has a hit. Yeah, they do. They got 2 hits. All right, so
Volpe struck out, by the way, Scott, and they're pinch hitting Giancarlo Stanton in the 9 spot here.
Okay, that makes sense, right? I mean, you're not going to pinch hit top of the order, so theoretically, this is the best. If you're going to use them tonight, then this would be the time. So that's not bad, if you got over 1.5 runs. I mean, it's going to be feast or famine generally with him, but at least you got the feast with him. Nice little 2-run homer, maybe gapper, with 2 out, runner on first base, running on the pitch, might be able to score. I would take it,
Yeah, I mean, I think to your point, the larger point here that I agree with is you're not going to pinch hit Stanton for your top of the order, right? So now that this is the 9 spot in the order, this would be the time to use your big gun off the bench right here. 2 outs and 2 outs and a man on first. But, Stanton will also strike out more than anybody I know. But we'll see. Remember, he was actually, I don't know if you remember this, Scott, how all the rage at the beginning of the year. Oh! Let's see. We could have it. Listen, I gotta see here. Do you know how they give you the little updates and he goes yard. Stanton has gone yard in a pinch hit situation. It is now 5-3. So remember, Rice scores in front of him. Stanton, a pinch hit homer. We've got a 5-3 game now. That over 1.5 team total for the Yankees does in fact come in. Dominguez now up. The lineup turns over. And my, oh my, it is not Brian Wu on the hill anymore for Seattle.
And now you're thinking they could win, right? I mean, it's only 5-3. You got an out left here. You got the top of the order coming up. You got the bullpen in play. They're still giving you 8-1. That's not bad. I told you before, take a little nibble on when it was 11 or 12-1 when you were getting 3.5. So if you didn't do it then, I'd do it again now. I really would, heading to the bottom of the ninth or finishing out this 8th inning. So I tell you, it's again, when you write about certain things, it's a great feeling, right? I just seen it play out so many times. Once that no-hitter gets stopped, when it's a decent amount of time, obviously you can't do it in the 4th or 5th inning, but things just tend to fall apart. It's like a basketball game. Yeah, you know what? It's like a basketball game, Dane, where top of the ninth they go. Where one team, it could be a pick'em game, but one team comes out great. But in the end, the means kind of work itself out. Seattle's not supposed to beat the Yankees 5-0. So once the no-hitter is broken, the means just kind of kick in, and okay, it's supposed to be a 1 or 2 or maybe even a 3-run game. So, all right, so 5-3 heading to the top of the 9th inning, and we cashed our ticket. So very nice on that. 7-0 St. Louis over Washington. Over was 9. So we put that in our 5 on the line. The over 9, I believe it was, or was it 9.5? Let me double check. It was 9. All right, so we need 2 more runs for and worse to push there, and then we need the Braves to start doing something.
I would like the Braves to start doing something.
Yeah. How many pitches for Strider?
I will check that. He's out of the top of the 2nd. So he's through 2 now. And Strider's at 31 pitches, but he does have 3 strikeouts through 2. Okay. He has 3 strikeouts through 2, but he would have to, be on that pace and get through 6. But at 31 pitches through 2, that's pushing him to about 90, 100 pitches through 6 as well. So we will see how that one goes. It's 17 pitches in the first, another 14 pitches in the second. And listen, Strider has strikeout stuff, right? We know about that, Scott. I mean, his Cy Young year, he had 270 plus strikeouts, for goodness sakes, 63 strikeouts in 55 innings pitched so far this season. But that's where I think is the biggest idea, right? 55 innings pitched in 10 starts, Scott. So that averages far less than 6 per start. So at this rate, he would, if he gets to 6, he would be right around that number. But the A's have hit him. He is down 3-0. He is on pace right now for 6 innings to get you to 9 Ks, but also get you over 90 pitches. So we'll see what happens here for Strider.
Yeah. By the way, Mystics and Aces, real quickly, 70-68, 4 seconds left. Aces have the basketball. So if you had the over 157, it's going to take a minor miracle, but not really. You know, if we get this thing tied at 70, go to overtime, 140, we would still need 18 more points, but at least we'd have a shot.
That's doable in overtime.
So, yeah. But as soon as I say that, Aces missed a shot. They lose 70-68. All right. One of those toughies, because if you bet the Mystics, they were laying 3, they win the game, and they win by 2. It does happen. It's not, you know, it kind of stinks. You're rooting for overtime there, obviously. So you had a 1-point game earlier. Minnesota beat the LA 90. Oh, no, actually, that's not a 1-point game. 9-point game, 91-82. So you had Minnesota win this afternoon. They had a lot of day games in the WNBA.
They did today.
Yeah, they do that. I guess they got camps and things, different things like that coming in. That's what I was told. That's why they do it a lot. Yeah, so so not bad.
You see that in Major League Baseball also, right, Scott?
Yeah.
You see, and you can tell in the upper deck where like the entire section is in purple shirts or something. It's definitely the day camp.
Yeah. So there was an 11:30 game the other day. I forget who it was. It wasn't the Red Sox with Patriots Day. I forget who it was, but there was.
Was it 4th of July? Game. Was it on the 4th of July, maybe?
No. Well, maybe it was. Maybe I thought it was after the 4th of July. I forget. It was some.
Because I know about Patriots Day when they run the marathon. That's like the one. Yeah. But I thought it might have been on 4th of July where you had some of these early ones as well. But we'll see.
Yeah. All right, so 3-0 Oakland, Sacramento lead the Braves. Top of the 3rd inning, they go there, and then when they get the Cardinals 7-0 over the Washington Nationals as they play top 7. All right, quick little break, then back to the board. In-game live game day here on the Grid.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Connect's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Connect, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Connect 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, Houston beat the snot out of the Dodgers, 18-1. And this is what happens here. Oral Hershiser doing the game for the Dodgers brings up the cheating scandal, going, oh, they must know the science because they're hitting curveballs like they know it's coming. It's like, oh, boy, does you really want to go down that rabbit hole again here? I think this is one of those nights where they got destroyed. Yeah, hey, it happens in baseball here. But just found that an interesting comment by Oral Hershiser. Start bringing up the cheating scandal again.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
You have a head coach in Jim Harbaugh that's proven he will cheat to win. He will win at the biggest stage and doesn't give a damn who cares or finds out, and he'll just move on. That's what I love about a coach. That's the type of coach that I want. Win at all costs. Now, also, at all costs means, like, how are we building this team? Because I actually thought Harbaugh would come in and say, okay, let me just see what the players on the roster is. We'll weed them out after a year, but there's a lot of talent. He built that foundation last year and still made the playoffs.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Tony Gwynn had 107 career at-bats against Greg Maddux. Never struck out once.
Oh, that's nuts.
In 107 times. 107. Cam, if you took the modern player and said, are you going to face Maddux 107 times in a row? Like Vlad Guerrero Jr. and these guys, they'd strike out like 62 times type thing.
Exactly.
It'd be like 80 times. It'd be like whiffing.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dane, second hour. Baseball, we got a couple of games just getting underway, including the Texas Rangers and LA Angels, the subject of my SGP. We're all over Texas, and we're all over Corey Seager. In case you missed it, it was Texas, and it was Seager to get a hit, 2 bases, a run, and an RBI. You see it there, and then that hit
Corey
for
Seager
the
has
Angels.
scored, Scotty. Corey Seager
how
has
about
scored
that?
a run. It is 1-0
Wow.
Texas in the top of the fourth.
Nice.
Adolis Garcia with a base knock, Simeon to third, and Corey Seager comes around to plate the first run of the game for the Texas Rangers. Don't you like it when a plan comes together, Scotty?
It is amazing. So we got him with a hit because unfortunately it was only a single, so we still need one more base out of him for the 2. But you know what I do when I do these? I put them on my sheet here, Dane, and I highlight them, and then I unhighlight the ones that eventually get hit, and so the ones that I still need to jump off the page.
Gotcha.
So cheap little thrill I get out of that. So I de-highlight the Corey Seager hit. De-highlight the Corey Seager run scored. So now we need Texas. Another base hit out of Seager. Would have been nice to get a double. We need an RBI out of him, but we're on our way. And our black cloud was the score run. So cha-ching, cha-ching. We hit that already. How about that? Guys, it is amazing, right? When you start looking at some, he's scored a run now in 13 of his last 15 games. I don't think we've hit a black cloud before the show ended. Since we've been doing this. I really don't. Because usually like over-unders or
Right.
So that's kind of
Right.
nice to hit the black cloud before everything is said and done. So
Listen, Scott, all I know is we just got into the mind of opposite picks and what gives him a cheap thrill. And it apparently is being able to unhighlight some bets as soon as possible. We said going into this, we were going to see Corey Seager's first time at bat because the Rangers and the Angels were going at around 9:40 first pitch. And really, outside of him hitting a home run, it really could, or a double, it really couldn't have gotten any better. You got the hit, you got the run. And here's the other thing. It looks like Texas, the more and more they score, the more likely you are to have Seager get 4, maybe 5 at-bats in this game, right? And so that gives you more opportunities here. But the Seager in-game live special, off to a bang.
Yeah, I tell you, just from forget the SGP, tomorrow guy, the guy is on fire. He really is. You get a guy that's as hot as he is, his numbers aren't going to be great on the season. He's hitting like 260 or so, but I told you, it's now 14 hits in his last 15 games. If you're into the prop stuff, look at him. See who they're facing again this weekend. I'm not sure because this is the last game of this 4-game series, but you got a guy like that, just keep on riding him, right? And makes the most sense, especially if they're going up against a bad pitcher like they are with Kohanowitz tonight. So, all right, so 1-0, Texas still batting first inning. Arizona, San Diego. This is kind of like the ugliest series that for me I could come up with. There's just not a lot of great trends. San Diego, they haven't won 2 in a row, Dane, since June 25th. I mean, that's 2 weeks plus ago. They haven't lost 2 straight, though, except one time in that same span. I mean, they're a win one, lose one, win one, lose one team. It's very hard to get reads on those clubs. So, and Arizona is very similar to 2 teams, right around the 500 mark. So, that said, the one that I did like was Eduardo Rodriguez pitching for the Diamondbacks. His outs was 17.5. You still might be able to get this. He's only gone 18 outs, which is 6 innings, 4 times in his 15 starts this year. 4 and 11. So I would go under 17.5. You'd still get it in.
Yeah, listen, and you can still get in on the Padres, right? Because they get blitzed last night, but you're saying they haven't lost 2 in a row in almost a month. You can get the Padres at plus money. I saw the Diamondbacks at minus 125 favorites. Let me also tell you, they are bringing in Munoz, obviously the closer for the Mariners right now, because it's a 2-run game in the Bronx. 2, 3, 4 coming up here. Grisham, Judge, and Belly. And let me tell you something. You can get plus 280 on the Yankees plus a 1.5, even if they don't get all the way home. If they just get one run, you would hit that at plus 280, and Judge is coming up second in this inning. Can I interest you, Scott, in plus 280 for the Yankees to score a run here in the bottom of the ninth?
I'd take a nibble on that. You know, we hit with our earlier place with this game, so we have some money to kind of have some fun with. So this would be one of those kind of have some fun, you know, plus 280 in the Bronx. Hot weather, balls flying out. Yankees riding, oh, by the way, a 9-game over streak. So they need one more run. I do believe it was 8.5 tonight for the over to hit again to make it 10 in a row. So if you buy into streaks, the streaks say that they're going to get, you know, one more run. I'm guessing there's one out because now it's up to plus 320, but you still got the Judge at bat. And there's no reason they're not going to want to walk Judge, right? So they're going to pitch to him.
Put the tying run to the plate, right?
Right. Well, you don't want to pitch around him or whatever, right? So just go after him. So you got a fighting chance at plus 290. Why not?
Grisham is still up by my count with a 1-1 count. Okay. So we'll see how that moves. But I agree with you. You don't pitch around Judge. You don't want to put the tying run up at the plate here. With a guy even like Belly, who, you know, lefty in that short porch in the hot weather, like you said, he can very easily go yard. And what would tie the game? We're extrapolating out a little bit because Gresham is still up here, but we'll see. I think it's worth. I think it's worth, like you said, a little bit of couch cushion money. Have a little fun with it.
Yeah, I tell you, the Rangers are in a position, Dane, to really blow this thing open. They scored another run. It's 2-0, and they get the bases loaded, 1 out against a pitcher who's not been good. Not many times I want to lay 2.5 runs minus 120, 152. But if there was a time, this might be it. Over/under is up to 13.5, wow. And now it's locked. So I'm guessing they scored some more runs. That's
possible. I mean, listen, we could get you 5 at-bats for your boy Corey Seager tonight. Yeah. That's what I'm looking at, right? No, it's the end of the first inning. They get out of the top of the first, but it is 2-0 Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, they must have hit it to a double play. And they had the bases loaded, 1 out. Oh, you're right. Now the over-under's down to 11.5. Dropped 2 runs. Boy. Well, so many times you get these look like great rallies, and it just implodes. So, all right, underway, no score, bottom of the first inning, Arizona, San Diego. A's still only 3-0 over Atlanta. They scored 3 early. It's bottom of the third. Not bad there. Cardinals tacked on another run, 8-0 over the Washington Nationals. Bottom 7. We need one more for at least a push on the over 9. And the Yankees still batting, nothing going on, bottom of the 9. Wimbledon talking. We'll close up shop next here on the Grid.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Connect's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Connect, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Connect 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, Houston beat the snot out of the Dodgers, 18-1. And this is what happens here. Oral Hershiser doing the game for the Dodgers brings up the cheating scandal, going, oh, they must know the science because they're hitting curveballs that they know it's coming. It's like, oh, boy, did you really want to go down that rabbit hole again here? I think this is one of those nights where they got destroyed. Yeah, hey, it happens in baseball here. But just found that an interesting comment by Oral Hershiser. Start bringing up the cheating scandal again.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
You have a head coach in Jim Harbaugh that's proven he will cheat to win. He will win at the biggest stage and doesn't give a damn who cares or finds out, and he'll just move on. That's what I love about a coach. That's the type of coach that I want. Win at all costs. Now, also, at all costs means, like, how are we building this team? Because I actually thought Harbaugh would come in and say, okay, let me just see what the players on the roster is. We'll weed them out after a year, but there's a lot of talent. He built that foundation last year and still made the playoffs.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Tony Gwynn had 107 career at-bats against Greg Maddux. Never struck out once.
Oh, that's nuts.
In 107 times. 107. Cam, if you took the modern player and said, are you going to face Maddox 107 times in a row? Like Vlad Guerrero Jr. and these guys, they'd strike out like 62 times type thing.
Exactly.
It'd be like 80 times. It'd be like whiff it.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dane closing things up. We got the 4 baseball games still going on. We got the Wimbledon tomorrow morning. Really looking forward to that with the 2 great men's semifinals. We'll touch on that before we're through. Just a little update, though, Dane. Your boys are alive. I mean, I can't tell you how many times growing up as a kid, I used to watch this on Channel 11, PIX.
Yeah, the Scooter and Bill White.
Yeah, exactly. What a great broadcast, right? They always come back. They would always come back and win. It would be such aggravating as a Red Sox fan. So they're down 5-3, but they have runners on first and second, only 1 out, and they get the middle of the order. Although Judge just made it out, but still near the top of the order up. And now the money line's all the way down to plus 350, and they're still giving you 1.5 runs plus 162. I tell you what.
That's the one I was saying.
Lefty batter. That's still not bad, man. I'm surprised.
That's one. And here's the other thing to get into kind of baseball a little bit more. If there's a base hit, they're not going for the runner at the plate. They're hitting the cutoff man to keep that runner from getting, to third base or whatever. So that plus 1.5 at plus 162 is pretty interesting to me. I referenced Scooter and Bill White, Scott, but Scooter would be halfway over the GWB by this point in the game, right? At this point already, giving his birthday wishes. Let me ask you something, though. We talk about Wimbledon, right? Drew came on this show earlier at the start of the show. He seemed to really believe in Sinner against the Joker here tomorrow. And I know you started the show saying that you liked the over 39.5 games. You didn't think any of these guys were going to get blitzed. It seemed to me that Drew sort of thinks that Sinner could do just that against the Joker. Did he compel you in any way, shape, or form?
A little bit, but I got to tell you, 2 days ago, we had a so-called expert come on and tell us to bet the Oakland A's or the Atlanta Braves and the A's won 10-1. Then we had an expert come on yesterday and say bet the under first 5.5. It was over 6-0 in the first inning and a half. So, not to make fun of anybody because we all do losing bets, right? But nah, I got to see it to believe it. They got too much respect for Joker. I think this is one of the best bets on the board tomorrow without looking at the baseball board yet. I would really be surprised if we didn't get 40 games. I'm not going to bet the over minus the 3.5 sets at minus 2-1. I'll take my chances. If it goes 4 sets, we get to 40 games. And like I said, I would be really surprised if someone lost. And you pointed out you could go 6-3, theoretically with only one broken serve. But I would be surprised if we didn't get to 40 games. I like it a lot, to tell you the truth. I'm sticking to my guns.
I do too. Like the idea that Djokovic won't get a set, and he has been playing well. I think he's gone this entire tournament without giving up a set so far. Him and Shelton were 2 guys who, at least around previous, that was the truth. So we'll see. Jazz Chisholm, by the way, flew out to right field, so the Yankees are down to their last out.
All right. He's probably, and I've seen this before, he's probably gone this tournament without losing he could lose a set, but I bet he hasn't been broken, or if he has, it's not very often. You can usually lose a set 7-6 in a tiebreaker without being broken. But
I think it's Sinner in 4 tomorrow. I think it's Sinner in 4, and so I think your game's bet is good. We'll talk about it tomorrow here, right? On In Game Live. But I think ultimately we're going to get Sinner in 4, and I think, however, I would not necessarily make that bet with Alcaraz. I think Alcaraz could win in straight sets.
Yeah. Disappointed. I was hoping that line, he's minus 610, because I wanted to bet him. But I was hoping he was a little bit closer to what the Sinner is, with minus 245. I didn't expect to be that low, but I was kind of hoping minus 350 maybe. And I would do that, but I don't want to lay minus 610.
Would you lay like 4.5 games or whatever? That's another way you could bet tennis, Scott. Alcaraz minus 6.5 games. That's another way you could do it too. Thinking he wins, 6-2, 6-2, 6-2, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is, do you think Fritz is going to win a set? Over-under there for games is 37.5. And then over-under for sets, 3.5 is minus 154 only.
Alcaraz in straight sets, Sinner in 4. Alcaraz in straight sets, Sinner in 4.
Yeah. How about aces? Both these guys, Fritz and Alcaraz, have great serves, right? So you can bet how many aces there'll be in the match. And in this one, 22.5 only. The Joker match is 24.5.
No, I'm not going to get you.
Maybe be not.
Give me Alcaraz in straight sets. Give me Alcaraz in straight sets. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
All right. I like Fritz to at least win a set. I'm going to go over 3.5 sets, and I'll definitely best bet over 39.5 games in the other match. Dane, great job as always. Dane and I will be back tomorrow. We got Cam Stewart coming up. I'm not sure who he's teaming up with, but he's in for Gabe Marinsky, who's out getting married. Don't do it. Don't do it.
There's still time, Gabe.